Good afternoon. Today is March 5, 2025. This is a meeting of the Cities and Counties Subcommittee. So if you're supposed to be somewhere else, you've got time to take off. The committee will be in order. Will the clerk open the voting board so we can take the roll? Please register your presence. Madam Clerk, take the roll.
Mr. Chairman, you have 6 members present. You have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The first bill up today is House Bill 482 by Chairman Hicks. Is there a motion?
Motion.
We have a motion and a second. Chairman Hicks, you're recognized on House Bill 482, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. This legislation, House Bill 482, adds prostate, breast, and pancreatic cancers to the list of cancers included in the Berry-Brady Act. Just a little background. In 2019, the General Assembly unanimously passed the Berry-Brady Act, which created a presumption that any conditions or impairments of full-time firefighters caused by 4 cancers are covered by workers' compensation. And those 4 are non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, colon cancer, skin cancer, and multiple myeloma. And again, this would just add prostate, breast, and pancreatic to this list.
You've heard the explanation. Members have any questions? Any comments? Is there objection to the question? Hearing none, we are voting on House Bill 482. Clerk, please open the voting system. Members, will you please cast your vote? We're voting on House Bill 482, moving to the next available calendar of state and local government. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 7 ayes and 0 noes.
The ayes prevail. House Bill 482 moves to the next available calendar, state and local government. Chairman Hicks.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, before I know I'm out of order, but in the audience are firefighters from across the state. Among them are the fire chief and members of the Hendersonville Fire Department who are here honoring the legacy of Captain Don Dallenbach, who recently passed from pancreatic cancer after serving his community for over 30 years. So I do want to, if they would stand and be recognized, please.
Next item on our agenda is House Bill 1306 by Leader Lamberth. We have a motion and a second. If the assistant leader will please come up. Leader Cochran, you're recognized on House Bill 1306.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee. House Bill 1306 is a bill to expand industrial development capabilities for affordable and workforce housing. So essentially, this bill aims to incentivize the supply of affordable housing by amending the language for industrial development projects, basically allowing tax increment financing and payment in lieu of tax programs to be more broadly used. So those local governments can implement those programs to incentivize more construction of affordable housing, as there's just an influx, obviously, of hundreds of thousands of people to our state. This will give our locals some additional tools to deal with that influx. With that, I'll yield to any questions.
Thank you, Leader. At this time, we will go out of session. We have a request for a speaker, and it's Ms. Deborah Fisher. If you'll please come, and if you, for the record, give your name and who you represent. You're recognized. We're out of session.
Okay. I'm Deborah Fisher. Come on. Okay. And I am Executive Director for Tennessee Coalition for Open Government, and thanks for letting me speak at the committee. There's a lot going on in this bill, but the thing that I was concerned about from an open government standpoint is the elimination of a public hearing when the TIF, the economic impact plan for a TIF, is modified or amended. There are 2 parts in the bill that talk about amendments to the TIF. One of them are kind of minor word corrections, but the other one's really open. And an amendment to a TIF could be something like changing the geographic boundary of a TIF. That happened in Chattanooga when I think the baseball stadium went over cost. So they expanded the geographic boundary to harvest some additional taxes to be able to pay for that development. And then it could be even changing the allocation of the split of the local taxes that go to pay off the bonds. Right now, it's just an increment, of the new development taxes that would go pay off the bond. But the bill allows it to be all of the taxes could go to pay off the TIF bonds. So anyway, these things I think are important enough that the public, that we should not be eliminating the public hearing. If there is an amendment like that on a current TIF that changes these things in a major way after they were already approved, and with a public hearing as promised in a certain way. So that would be the thing that I wanted to draw your attention to. And I haven't talked to Representative Cochran about it, but I did talk to Leader Lamberth about it yesterday, and I'm hoping for some changes, but I am concerned about that.
Thank you, Ms. Fisher. We appreciate you being here today. We will go back into session. Assistant Leader Cochran, you are recognized on the bill.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And, certainly appreciate the testimony. And I think the only, I think what I would offer in response to that is if you look at page 3 of the bill, about the second paragraph down, for any economic impact plan approved by the corporation before or after the effective date of this act, the governing body of the municipality or any city, town, or county required to approve an economic impact plan may approve amendments to the economic impact plan as well. That's a public meeting, right? So the same body that approved the tax increment financing in the beginning, which was done at a public meeting where public comment is held, if the plan is amended, there will be yet another public meeting and certainly plenty of opportunity for public input.
Questions? Representative Dixie, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question is, it says this is basically going to impact municipalities in which a brownfield redevelopment project is located. Where are the brownfield, or do you have a list of them, or can we get a list of the brownfield redevelopment project?
Leader Cochran.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative, I believe certainly that we could get you that, and that would probably come through ECD, but I think we could facilitate that and get you a list of this.
Representative Dixie.
Okay, thank you.
Any other? Chair Lady Littleton, you're recognized.
Mr. Chairman, I call for previous question.
Is there objection to the question? Hearing none, we are voting on House Bill 1306. Madam Clerk, please open the voting system. Members, please vote. We're voting on House Bill 1306, moving to the next available calendar of state and local government. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 7 ayes and 0 noes.
House Bill 1306 moves to the next available calendar, state and local government. Our next bill on the calendar is House Bill 1326 by Leader Lamberth. And I believe we have Chairman Vaughn. Is there a motion? We have a motion and a second. Chairman Vaughn, you're recognized on House Bill 1326.
Good afternoon, Chairman. Today I'm honored to present this bill for the administration, bringing you a couple of changes to Tennessee's land use laws. One, adjust vesting rights periods. As current law exists today, plans or development rights are vested based upon when a permit is approved. What this will do is this will move that 3-year period back from approval to submission. And what that does is that precludes somebody from taking an application, delaying it, and then changing land use laws in the meantime before they hear the permit. This is purpose of this bill. The second is a permissive aspect of a bill, conditional use permits. Conditional use permits, a lot of times there's misunderstandings within municipal governments about what a conditional use permit is. It should be a use by right, provided that certain conditions are met. Sometimes, and typically they're heard by Board of Zoning Appeals or either planning commissions. A lot of times what happens is though, as opposed to it being an administrative task of them going down a checklist of conditional uses, it turns into an examination far beyond that aspect. So what this would do is if a city wants to, doesn't require to, but if they want to, they can move for an administrative approval system for conditional use permits. And again, it is permissive for local governments.
Members, you've heard the explanation. Representative Mitchell, you're recognized, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So going back to the first part, like I had a developer when I was a city councilman. He wanted to do a certain, put too many townhomes on a piece of property. And, you know, I had the opportunity to change the law. It'd been a piece of property in a PUD for years and years. And it sat dormant. Well, I was just trying to say the PUD no longer existed anymore because it had sat dormant for so long. So if you pass this, would it go back to when that PUD was first originally passed?
Chairman Bond,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
3 years.
Only for things happening after July 1 of 2025. This will be moving forward. It wouldn't affect anything that's been done in the past. And your terminology of too many townhomes, is that too many in your opinion or too many according to the outline plan on the plan development?
Representative Mitchell, you're recognized.
Well, when it's a community of 600 single-family homes and no townhomes, one would be too many for that neighborhood.
Chairman Bond.
I'll wait till there's a question, Mr. Chairman. There's no need to get involved in
Thank you.
spirited debate.
Thank you. Representative Butler, you're recognized on the bill, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So basically what this is doing, if let's just say you start a development today, I want to make sure I'm clear on understanding this. You start a development today, whatever rules are in place today, if it takes you 18 months or 12 months to move through the process of that project, basically you're going to follow the rules that were when you began this project, not new rules, or let's just assume that there might be additional rules that a municipality might impose on you.
Chairman Bond.
That is correct. And, you know, one of my concerns about this bill, frankly, is that if your vesting period begins when they accept your completed application, that's another thing, is that different jurisdictions have different requirements for what is included in a complete application. I know in some of the ones I practice in, that's as big a hurdle as getting an approval, is getting the planning staff to accept your application as being complete. But so what that's going to do is that's going to start the 3-year clock upon that period. And if it takes you 6 months to get it approved, then on the backside, you're 6 months, you only have 2.5. So we're just sliding that 3-year window closer. And the thought process is that gives some certainty on what entitlements you're applying under. What you don't want to see is somebody to apply for a permit and then people decide that, hey, we don't like that, so we're going to go out and change the rules on you before it gets started. And so that's what this is trying to combat.
Representative Butler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I support the bill. I think it's a great kind of levels the playing field so that the rules don't get changed in the middle of the game, so to speak. So I support your bill. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Any other members have questions? Any other members have comments? Is there objection to the question? Hearing none, we are voting on House Bill 1326. Moving to the next available calendar, state and local government. Madam Clerk, open the voting roll. Will all members vote? Has every member cast their vote? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 5 ayes and 2 noes.
The ayes prevail. House Bill 1326 moves to the next available calendar of state and local government.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate yours and the committee's support of this fantastic piece of legislation.
Championship. Let's be in order. Next item is House Bill 1128 by Chairman Farmer. You have a request to roll this 1 week without objection. Hearing no objection, House Bill 1128 is rolled 1 week. Next item on the calendar is House Bill 808. There's a request to roll this bill 2 weeks. Is there objection? Hearing no objection, House Bill 808 is rolled 2 weeks. Next item is 842, House Bill 842 by Chairman Haston. He's asked this bill be taken off notice. Is there objection? Hearing no objection, House Bill 842 is off notice. Next item is House Bill 426 by Representative Love. And I've had a request to roll this bill for 1 week. Is there objection? Hearing no objection, House Bill 426 is rolled 1 week. Next item is House Bill 763 by Chair Lady Littleton. And you're recognized, Chair Lady
Thank
Littleton.
you. Thank you. I'd like to roll this 1 week, please.
Without objection, House Bill 763 is rolled 1 week. Next bill is House Bill 152 by Vice Chairman Wright. We have a motion and a second on House Bill 152. Chairman Wright, you're recognized on House Bill 152.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's Amendment 4344.
Is there a motion on the amendment? We have a motion and a second on Amendment 4344. You're recognized on the amendment. Vice Chairman Wright.
The Amendment 4344 puts on the correct sunshine date.
All right. Is there objection to the question on the amendment? Hearing none. All in favor of Amendment 4344 say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. The ayes prevail. We are back on House Bill 152 as amended. And if you will go ahead and explain the bill, we do have a speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Would we hear the speaker first, or we need?
Let's go ahead and do the explanation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is House Bill 152. It's 100% permissive bill, allows local legislative bodies to allow member participation via electronic means with a large number of guidelines being given. The three major things are that the members dealing with a family or medical emergency. Number two, the member has been called into military service, or the member is unable to attend in person due to inclement weather. And before I back up and really place on the most strict of the guidelines governing this policy, let me do some of the other things. The member participating remotely or via electronic means must be visually identified by the chair. There must be present at the meeting a quorum of members. No more than 20% of the total membership may be presenting remotely. This can only occur per member twice a year. Now then, to the electronic means. The legislative body conducting the electronic meeting must provide real-time live audio or video access to the public. A clear audio or video recording of the meeting made available to the public as soon as practical following the meeting, but in no event more than 2 business days following the meeting. The public notice that puts out that the legislative body is doing this must include information regarding the real-time live access to the broadcast. And all of this is required by the local legislative body to develop a policy using the guidelines that I've just given they must develop a policy and they must approve it by a 2/3 majority of the body. And again, this is 100% permissive. So if a body does not want to take up any of the things that I've just described, the local legislative body does not have to participate in this application, which is statewide. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With that not so brief explanation, I stand for questions.
Okay, at this point, we do have a speaker, Ms. Fisher. We will go out of session. And if you'll come and please give your name and your organization.
Deborah Fisher, Executive Director, Tennessee Coalition for Open Government. And this bill, this is the third time that this bill has been run, as some of you know. And it was first run after COVID, because during COVID, we had hybrid meetings where some people would be in person, some people would be on the phone, some people maybe on the video. And there was an interest in kind of being able to continue that for these specific purposes that Chairman Wright outlined. So we try to look at it from the standpoint of the public. And the one problem with the hybrid meetings, if you guys can go back into your memory of this, is that when you had say people present, and then you had as many as 3 people on the telephone, because this doesn't specify that anybody but the chair has to see the person. So it's not going to be like a video conference in every place, but you have as many as 3 people on the phone. It is hard to know who's talking. I remember that during the hybrid meetings of COVID. You don't know, they don't necessarily identify themselves beforehand. They're not necessarily audible. So this was a concern that we have for people being able to correctly follow along. And, that's one of our concerns. The other concern I have, or our organization have, is that it allows an exception for a family emergency. I still think that is a broad exception that is unclear. And if that is, a family emergency, because I got to take my kid to the soccer practice, or what, and I'm going to patch him for 15 minutes or something during a certain vote and then go. I don't think that that's what the public wants. I mean, they want all of you guys here in person. We don't want people working remotely when they're doing the government body business. We want you here voting, deliberating together in person. And so I think when you have an exception, I get the military, I do, and I think that's good. In fact, that's already in the law. But I think a family emergency seems to start loosening the standards a bit. Finally, the bill has something that I think undermines the agenda requirement that this legislature put into law a few years ago related to an agenda being required for city councils and county commissions. And it says instead that an agenda for this type of meeting is strongly urged. Now, I'm not sure how that would be viewed if anybody kind of looked at that. Maybe that's a mistake in the bill that can be corrected. But I don't like to have this strongly urging an agenda when somewhere else in our law we actually are requiring an agenda. And maybe that would all be worked out if someone looked at it. But I still think it is misleading to the public. So for these reasons, we think that the bill doesn't serve the public. The audibility, knowing who's talking on the phone, the family emergency, the hybrid meetings, and frankly, the public generally wanting you to be there when you're doing the government business.
Thank you. We are going back into session. Now, are there questions for the sponsor? Mr. Sponsor, the chair of the meeting should always identify the person speaking. A running debate should not be happening in meetings, especially if one's being held remotely. So any other questions or comments? Is there objection to the question? Hearing none, we are voting on House Bill 152 as amended, moving to the next available calendar, state and local government. Madam Clerk, please open the voting board. Will members please vote? Has every member cast their vote? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 4 ayes and 3 noes.
The ayes prevail. House Bill 152 moves to the next available calendar, state and local government. That concludes today's calendar. Do any member have an announcement or comments? Seeing none, without objection, we will stand adjourned. Hearing no objection, we are adjourned.